Nacho! What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for coming back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Nacho Libre. So Nacho Libre stars Jack Black and is directed by Jared Hess, who you may also know as the writer and director of Napoleon Dynamite. And if you've ever seen Napoleon Dynamite, you know that that film has a very specific type of humor, a very specific vibe and tone throughout the entire film. And Nacho Libre is no different. So like I mentioned, this film stars Jack Black as the character Ignacio, who is essentially a kid who grew up in this orphanage that's attached to this Catholic church. And he's grown up to be a part of the church. He's ended up being the cook for the church. And yeah, he's just somebody who really follows the gospel, loves the kids, but he aspires to more outside of the church and outside of his normal cooking duties, and he wants to become a luchador. I guess I also should have mentioned that this film takes place in Mexico, and if you've ever seen anything with Jack Black in it or know who that is, he is not Mexican. So this whole film, you have Jack Black doing this accent that is just absolutely hysterical. He has this little mustache going on, and it's just everything from his hair, his look, his voice, and the way he goes about saying his lines is absolutely hysterical to me when it comes to this film. Now, before we get too far into this, I gotta go ahead and acknowledge and just go ahead now and just say that I know that this film is completely and utterly silly. It's dumb. It's not going to be for everybody. There's humor in here that will not work for some people. Some of it's really dumb and just full-blown just knows what kind of movie it is, and it's not trying to be anything too serious in any way, shape, or form. This is not really a very subtle humor film. There are definitely moments of subtle humor, but a lot of it is really in your face, and a lot of the laughter just comes from realizing how ridiculous this whole story and the characters are. So yeah, I don't really want to tell you too much about the story outside of whatever he told you. He wants to be a luchador, but he loves the kids that are part of this orphanage that he cooks for and everything that is going on at the church. He loves God, he loves the gospel. And though this film takes place at a Catholic church and the gospel and God are brought up throughout the film, it's not a kind of like preachy film in any way. It's all used in a very light and just fun and funny way. But however, I do really enjoy the character of Ignacio. He's really driven, he's really passionate, he does love the kids. He's super silly, super dumb, makes the funniest decisions throughout the movie that just lead to you as an audience member just being like, what the hell is going on? But he really is a really charming and likable character. He really has a lot of heart for these kids, and he really understands what it's like to be in their shoes, and he really just wants to be the best role model and the best person he can for them so that they can have a good life in this orphanage. So that's one of my favorite things about this film, is not only is it a really funny movie for me and something that I genuinely enjoy on a humor level, but it's also something that for me is just very heartfelt. There's a lot of heart and charm behind the story. There's a lot of heart and charm behind the characters. It's just a really good feeling across the film when it comes to the characters and their motivations. A lot of that has to do with the way that Jack Black plays this character. He brings a lot of heart and charm to him while making him really dumb and silly, but not in the way where you think, oh my god, this character is so annoying. More in the way where you just kind of realize that this guy is just a big dope. And yeah, I just really have always loved this character. He's super dumb, super silly, just everything about the way he says stuff, he goes about things, the way he'll run out of a room, the way he starts his little bike that he has in the film. It's just way too funny. Now again, I totally recognize that this is going to be a very subjective experience. In my opinion, I think that comedy, when it comes to films, is the most subjective genre. You can have people who just flat out don't like certain genres, but a lot of times if people actually sit down and watch those films, they'll recognize that they are pretty good. Whereas if the humor just doesn't work for you when it comes to a comedy, if it's just too vulgar for you, or it's not vulgar enough, or it's too subtle, or it's not subtle enough, when it comes to comedy, I think that it has to be the right kind of comedy for that specific viewer. So I really do recognize that many of you may watch this and think, man, that movie is so dumb, it doesn't make me laugh. And for me, I recognize that it's dumb, but I've always been a fan of dumb humor in comedies. I just love being able to watch a film that's just super silly and over the top. Now, there are plenty of comedies that go too over the top with the silliness and dumbness that I just cannot get behind. A film that I have not reviewed, and I haven't actually even finished it, but I watched a little bit of it with my dad recently, was this film called Sextuplets that's on Netflix that stars Marlon Wayans. And yeah, that film for me was just like the dumb side of comedy that's not on the good side of that for me. And so, you know, it really is just going to be a subjective experience. So I just wanted to say that because I totally recognize that, again, this isn't a film for everybody. It's totally silly. It's totally over the top. And there's just something about it that's just so charming to me, from the way that it's directed to the way it looks, the music choices throughout it, the performances, everything is very consistent. And what I love about a film like this is that you have all these people who know what kind of movie they're in. They know how the shots are going to look. They know how their characters are going to feel within the film. You do have the characters that act serious, that are not, you know, in any way part of the over-the-top silliness of the film. And I think it's that groundedness that certain characters, and quite a few characters in this film, have in the mix with these other characters that are just over the top and just ridiculous, that really just give a fun and weird and just very unique balance. This film and Napoleon Dynamite for me have two of the most unique feelings when it comes to comedies. There's just a very specific tone, feel, and look to them that I can instantly recognize both of those films based on the music choices, the direction, the camera work, just the way the film feels. There's just so much to this film that really makes it feel and look so unique and so different. And I highly recommend this film, guys, if you have never seen Nacho Libre. I think it's one of the funniest movies that I ever remember growing up watching. It's one of those films that I still have a good time talking to people about. Sometimes, you know, the co-workers that have seen it will sit here and just quote lines. And again, the lines that we're quoting are so silly and so dumb, but Jack Black is just so solid and delivers in this role, because not only is he bringing you a really funny and over-the-top performance, but again, he does bring heart and charm and does really create a character that by the end of it, you're like, this guy is so ridiculous, but he's so charming and he's so sweet and he has a really good heart, and you really do enjoy his character, on top of this film just being so funny and so unique in the humor elements. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Do you like this movie? Do you not like this movie? I'm very, very curious. Do you like Jack Black in this role? Do you like Nacho Libre? Do you ever quote this film? Answer any and all of those questions down below, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you want to see more videos, and I will see all of you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!
Nacho!